All right, this is Dave Bennett from theme2html.com. It is Tuesday, March the 8th, 2016. We just did a video where we set up the CPanel accounts automatically, and I showed you guys through that, how that whole thing works. By the way, the timing, went back and double checked our latest version of it now. The timing is really about 9 to 10 per minute, which means bordering, and probably with the mass it'll happen this way, because once the initial connections are open up and everything's still flowing, especially if you're installing to a single server, you can probably do as many as 600 an hour, literally. New domains, new websites created onto the server with everything set up, email addresses created for every single one of them, and all those email addresses forwarding to wherever you want for all of them, and they're all done. Anywhere between 500 and 600 an hour. Okay, so that's crazy, isn't it? That's just incredible power. All right, that's what this does. This step right here, set up CPanel account. Once you line up your file, now this is a file for a different process, but that's the idea, that we just had data, and all we really needed to do was highlight our data. Once we had our data, and we went and we pasted it in, and we processed it. Now this is not the same thing. So this, yeah, there's no way that we can get this result, because this is a whole different ball of wax. Clear data. Okay. So what's this one? This one, let me go to the next step. I'm just going to do it on a sample website. Okay, so this is the top level domain, moji-samples.com. That's our, as many of you know, especially those who've been around for a long time, this is a domain we only use for testing purposes. We just simply upload stuff, check it out, see how it looks, make sure it does the job, and then delete it or let it get overwritten. And so no one cares. All right. So that's it. So that's my top level domain, Moji Samples, and there are no add-on domains in this case. I'm just going to stick with moji-samples.com. Otherwise, think about it this way: the server would be your CPanel. Okay, so that would be your top level domain, and then the domain itself would be any domain on that CPanel. So it could be the top level domain or an add-on domain. Okay, and so if this did have an add-on domain in here, then of course that's what we're saying. We're saying connect to the server, but we're doing the work on this add-on domain. That would be the idea. Okay, now beyond that, we are going to install software. We're going to install a bunch of software from the file repository on the server. This is kind of review, right? So in the file repository, we have all these different folders. Okay, and so inside each of these folders, we have whatever thing it is that we would like to upload. So in this case, it's a stack of 50 templates, literally. Okay, it's huge. It's like 220 meg. Okay, zipped up, 50 T2HA templates. All right, in one stack that can be installed somewhere. Okay, this would be the file path. Right. So I would copy the file path just like that. It did it. It did it because I hit the copy symbol. Then I would go to my file, and I would literally paste it, you know, wherever I wanted it to go. Like in this case, it happens to be right here. So just, you know, paste it in would be the idea, and that's how it would be. So paste it in wherever you want it to go, okay? And so if you're going to put it in more than one place, you can stick it in more than one place, right? And so what else am I going to put here? How about this Google verification file.zip? How does that work? Well, if you go to Google Webmasters and log in, and you want to prove that you have access to a bunch of websites so that you can manipulate the sitemap, see data about the websites, then you need to verify yourself. One way to do it is to take the little file they give you to download, and I have one. We all do. So they're an HTML file with this random string, random set of characters and numbers. That means our HTML file. Tiny little thing. It's just got that random string on it inside the file. That's it. So what's Google looking for? Well, if you're able to upload that to the root of the website that you want to access, so there would be the website I want to access, and it would not go in a subdomain because it needs to go in the root. Okay, so there is no subdomain here. That's the idea. Okay, then we're going to go, and what it means is this thing, I can actually upload it. And of course, like every other zip file, it will be extracted for me automatically, okay, into the same folder that it's supposed to be in. So this will extract into the root. This will extract into that, and this will extract into that, etc. Okay. Now in this case, we actually have two things happening. The first, we have travel and travel. That's what I want to point out, travel and travel. Okay. Now, the thing to understand is how that goes. So database user name and password. This is to create the database that will be used for the installation. Okay. And then once the files are added and the database is created, then what? Then the SQL file has to be imported into the database, and the user password has to be put in the database. The security key has to be put in the database, all in the correct spots. The email ID has to be put in the database, and well, actually it doesn't need to be. It's actually just the email address is used as the admin for the site for forgot password and so on. Actually, it does go in the database anyway, so it's true. That's right. And the connection string has to be created with all of the right information to connect to the database. Okay. By the way, we can name this connection file whatever we want. So if you have a program where the connection file is not called connection.php, it's called something else, then you can rename it. Okay, you can just use whatever name you want right here. Okay, just type over the name. All right, now in our case, all of our connection files here are connection.php. Okay, so almost all of these entries have database information, and almost all have, therefore, SQL file information. It would stand to reason that if you're going to create a database, you're doing it because you're going to add some SQL information. So that much lines up correctly. And then user pass security key would have to go in there, so that makes sense. What about these couple of cases where we don't have any databases, like no subdomain, no database, no SQL file, user pass security key email connection? Why is that? Well, because this is just HTML file that we're going to unzip. Now, by the way, since it's a zip file, what if I'm working with partners and we all want to have access to the website and we all have our own little HTML files with our own unique alphanumeric, randomized numbers? Well, what do you think? It means that we could email them together into one group, zip them all up, stick them in here. So I and 4 other partners, or 14 other partners, or 4D other partners could all have our own Google verification file inside that one zip file. Okay? That way, when we are creating the zip file into the root, we are authenticating all the users at the same time, right? Who's part of our group. Isn't that neat? One motion, right, to actually authenticate everyone. They don't have to all go and get access to the website and log into the cPanel, find the file manager, get into the root, and then hit the upload button and then browse on their computer to select their Google verification file and then upload it. This will just do it for all of us in one motion. We've all got our HTML file inside that zip file. That would be the idea. Okay. These other things, they're templates with T to HA panels. Okay. Well, what about this one down here that doesn't have any information for a database or SQL? Whoops. SQL information or anything. Here's what that is. This is a 50 template stack. This assumes that we already have a panel somewhere, and we do. It's on the travel subdomain. And the next thing we're going to do is add this 50 template stack to the whatever, maybe the travel subdomain like that one was, or anywhere else. Do I need to add it to the travel subdomain? No. I could add it to anything else. How about I add it to like the colors subdomain? Okay, that's this one from up here. Okay, isn't that neat? I can do this. I can do this with a bunch. I could add these to all of them. So I could first install the panel, and the panel, by the way I have it set up, the default installation could be what you're seeing here, or it could be the mobile, but both of those themes are going to be in there. Whatever this is called, plus probably the default mobile's in there too. But then when I'm done installing that, I could also add like 50 more templates. Okay, how's that for cool? Now, because I'm just adding more templates to an existing panel in this case, then what does that mean? That means I do not need to create a new database or new SQL information or new security key. None of that's necessary because I'm adding templates to an existing panel. Okay. Finally, I'm going to install the AddALC tool. AddALC Tool 1, 2, 3. Now notice what I do with the database information. Because these are all T to H based, I'm having T to H looking database prefixes here, right? That's just to keep my stuff in order. And then, of course, where there are no databases, there are no databases. But then down here, I've got AddALC database prefixes, so I can just keep track of all my stuff. And, you know, I can realize AddALC, well, that's the AddALC tool, right? That just helps me, yeah, keep some basic order. Do you need to do that? No. Any 7 digits, right, any 7 alphanumeric, lowercase, is perfectly fine. So the database user, lowercase, 7 letters or numbers in combination. No dashes, no spaces, no underscores. Letters and numbers. That's it. All lowercase. Okay? And then down here, same thing now. And there's like almost an infinite number. Not really, but quite a few. So you can go on forever with this, and that's cool. And again, it could all be the same username and password is if these are different websites. Okay. Well, okay, here we go. Here we go. We've got all this done, and we can install this. By the way, the AddALC tool doesn't have an actual security key, and so AAA was plenty good enough for that. And because I want the user to not be confused over which password operates everything, I'm going to use the same Website Marketing Solutions 123. That's the idea here. WMS 123 password for everything we're installing all at once. But they're all going to have their own SQL instances on their own subdomains, okay, so that they can all run in parallel to each other. Anyway, how hard was this really to set up? Not hard. I downloaded the sample. So then I just pasted in my server and domain and dragged that down. I knew which templates I wanted, so I just got the subdomain list. Actually, you know how easy it is to do something like that? Watch this real quick. Okay, let's just say this is what I was after. You know, it's all of those particular things. Just to show you, it's sort of like a dummy way of doing this. I'm going to delete everything that is not right. So I'm going to go for like this. You know, Control C, Control H, Control V, delete it all. Okay, and now what? I got landing panels down here, so I'm going to also delete those with the T to A dash. So Control C, Control replace all, right? Then get rid of the .zips, right? Replace all. Okay, we're getting pretty close. Now the only other thing I want to do is get rid of these A's and E's, for example. A, replace all, you know, and then the E, replace all. Okay, F, replace all. And I'm basically there. So the only other thing I want to do, it's a subdomain. So, oh, I can get rid of the -1s and -2s, right? You know, Control C, Control H, Control V. I don't know why I'm showing you all this because it's repetitive. I mean, once you saw it once, you saw it all the time. Same with -2, you know, replace all, and then -3. I guess I'm just being nitpicky. All right, so there you go. Now, just to make sure I didn't create any weird spaces, and I'm going to make that real estate. Okay, whoops. Just to make sure I didn't create any string and spa. I don't know why that's. Oh, that wasn't a -1. It was just a 1. That's why. Okay, so. Oh yeah, L. That's right for landing, right? We gotta get rid of those L's. So Control C, Control H, Control V up here. Whoops. And then kill it. Okay. So 2 last things I want to do. I'm going to use the T to HA toolbar. I've got it. And I'm going to format sheet. I'm going to just remove any extra spaces in case I accidentally have some extra spaces that I don't see. And I'm going to set it to lowercase. And guess what? It matches. That matched the list. So I can copy it. I can come back. And I could just paste it right starting here. Bam. See? And it all lines up. Makes sense, right? Okay. There you go. That's how easy this can be to do. Okay, is, you know, if you're all thumbs doing it the first time around, you'll get used to it really, really fast. And then here, I just created all those subdomains real quick so we can see what they look like once this thing is up. All right, by the way, how's the website look right now? Okay, well, I'm going to go there. And when I go there, there's nothing there. Index of, right? CGI bin, there's nothing there. And if I wanted to, real quick, I could just open all of these really, really fast. Again, that's what our T to HA toolbar does for us. I can use the Pages viewer, open it in Chrome, just right now, and everything should not be available. The name's not resolved. I'm going from page to 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 page randomly. Nothing. Okay, they're all broken. All right, that's the whole point. Close other tabs. Okay, so having said that, what are we going to do to get our job done? We're going to go to subdomains, batch installation, because we're going to install in batch. And by the way, you could install one this way too. If you just had one new entry, just make it the header with the new entry. You literally just copy it and go back and paste it in and hit process data, you know. And once you have it, you can literally hit the installation button. Okay, so for many people, there's not even a purpose anymore for many people to ever do an individual installation. I mean, it's cool. You can go select your emoji samples from here, you know, and you can create your you can choose your add-on domain if you have one, and then you can create your link, and that can be, you know, bike 123, I don't know. And then you can say database name, make sure it's random, make sure that's random. Okay, local file for repository, and let's go get some stuff to put on there, right? Biking template, right? Bam, you know. Now this is all nice. User password, security key, email address, connection file. Well, guess what? User password, security key, email address, connection file. It's the same thing. Okay, so it's just pretty easy to use this file and forget about doing individual installations when you can just paste stuff in from this file. Okay, now in my case, I'm going to highlight the whole thing, copy it, go over here, subdomains, batch, paste, and again, if I wanted to do this by hand, honestly, if I went and created the subdomain manually, and then went and created the database manually, and then I went through the steps to get to the file manager into the public HTML folder to upload the zip file and then extract it and then go back into the database and add the security key and the email address and everything. Oh yeah, I had to upload the SQL database too. I had to import it, you know. And if I did all this stuff by hand, it takes about 4 minutes per website. Okay, so like each one of those installations would take about 4 minutes by hand and be a pain in the neck. And there's a lot of room for mistyping and a lot of room for error, especially if you get tired from doing many of these, right? Well, how fast is it really going to take us to do like 27 installations where one of them is even 50 whole templates, 220 meg, right? Well, heck, let's see. I'm going to minimize. Okay, start the installation. Okay. And it's just gonna do it. I already verified all these things, so they're good. Hey, it's still the first one. First one was quick and easy, of course. Google verification file, right? Oh, look at that. It's done with the next one too. It did a whole installation onto outdoors.moji-samples.com, complete with the database information. It created the user, it created the database, it created the pass for the user, and then it set the permissions for the user to have all privileges on the database. Okay, so it went and did that one step at a time. It uploaded the zip file and extracted it. It imported the SQL file into the database, and then it updated the user pass in the database and the security key in the database and the email address in the database. See, that's how much power there is. And then it created the whole connection.php file to coordinate with that information. And look at this, it's done. I can right click and open the link in a new tab. Okay, right click, open in a new tab. I don't want to leave this window while it's still working. It's still working, see? Verified means it already checked the connection and it's pretty sure it can install it. Everything looks good. The information looks right, it can connect. This means it's doing the installation. Click me means it's done. Here's the information that they have to tell us how well it worked. Now, if I right click and open in a new tab, okay, that's right. It won't show results if there's so little information as this up here. There's nothing for it to show. But that's okay. It did the job. I already know it did the job. I can go check it though. But look at this one. What's it say? Subdomain creation? Yes, it did it. Website upload? Yes, it did it. Website extraction? Yes, it did it. Database creation? Yes. Database user creation authorization? Yes. SQL file uploaded? Yes. The database script executed? Yes. To make sure it takes. Database data changes done? Yes. Connection file created? Yes. Do we have any database rules or file rules to apply? The answer is no. We didn't have any rules to apply, so no rules were applied. Okay, that's for the subdomain outdoors. So if I go look right now, outdoors.emoji-samples.com. Oh, it didn't resolve. Oh, it did resolve. Yep, it was just cache. So it did resolve. It's right here. Everything's good to go. And there you go. The whole thing is done. Now, because I did this, and the security key, as long as I didn't actually use the security key already in a different demo, look at that, that's cool, right? So neat. All right, long as I didn't use a security key in a different demo. By the way, I need to attach a logo to that. There's no logo there, but that's no problem. So if I log into it, right, what did we say? I mean, we said WMS123, didn't we? Boom. Okay. I'm just showing you that this whole thing works. Okay. Save it. Look at that. I can install updates. Okay. Updates 1, 2, 3. And by the way, how far is this thing? I'll tell you in a second. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all the updates for this panel. Okay. If I go back here and double check, it is much of the way done. Okay. It's still doing a little more, but it's most of the way done. Now, what else did I want to do? Oh, I could fix the logo real fast, right? Global settings. I happen to be here, and let's go get the right logo for it. That's just because it doesn't know what logo you want until you tell it, right? This doesn't mean anything. It's no big deal. Survival gear. Oh, that's a footer logo. I want a header logo. Where would a header logo be? Right there. That's got to be it. Update. Yeah, that's it. There. That looks good. All right, man. Everything's awesome. Okay. And again, all these things are just about done. So check it out. What's it doing here? It's installing that travel. And then, oh, it's done with that. Now it's installing those 50 templates to the colors subdomain. So let's go kind of get a jump on this. I'm going to go to colors, right? Log in there. Again, admin WMS 1, 2, 3. When I get in there, okay, I'm all good for it. Now what? Okay, global settings, you know, if the license key is not in use, I can go ahead and update it. See this? That means that the license key is connected properly and everything's good to go, right? It's communicating with the server. Oh, it's done. Isn't that cool? Here we go. Let's finish this real fast, then I'm going to make the point. 7. Okay, now if I go to the dashboard and go to the temp or themes, check this out. All those themes have been uploaded into the panel. They all work. I can switch to any one of them. I can go to this one. And then I can hit that. Okay? And I can be working on this one now. You get it? So it's all there. It's just whatever I feel like doing, I can do. Right? If I wanted to work on that one. Okay? I can do that with this one here. Okay? And then if I wanted to work, you know, exactly. It's like, where do I want to go today? What would I like to accomplish today? It's absolutely all in here, right? This is the power of it all. This is the value of having your own server too. Can you imagine how easy it's going to be? You already saw the cPanel creator and the fact that we can install all these panels. We can set up every different installation file for each different kind of template we have, and then we can upload them all automatically, easily, and efficiently. Really, all you need are security keys. That's it. The rest of the information you have. If you have the tool and the server, you can do this on your own if you have some security keys to unlock these things with. All right, what else do we have? We had the AddALC tool. Let's just go see that. Is that there? Yep. And again, WMS123, because we just, we pretended that we did this for one user. Okay, so he has full functionality, right? And there you go. You can go ahead and start importing stuff and get your new value map taken care of. There's your sample file so you can see what it would look like, and you can start doing your thing. Okay. All right, there you go. So that's how long it took to do the whole thing. Literally, it times out. It can do like 5 installations a minute, one every 12 seconds on average. Okay, so if you've got 5 a minute times 60 minutes, you can literally install 300 fully functional websites for people in an hour, right? And if you're doing it for yourself to take over an industry, and you're running this up, then you can set them all up. Then you can go into each of them, get them all set up for mass production, and then you can bulk export to create tons more domains in your industry for all the different color combinations, image combinations, everything else, so that you can really saturate your industry. You can really take over your industry. Okay? So that's where we are. This is absolutely amazing power. And we haven't even started. What's the rest of it that we would normally do? Well, now that we have all this stuff up, we'd want to PageSpeed analyze it, right? So if I wanted to do that, I go to emoji samples and I start checking it out. Boom. And I'd say, what is it? And something like this. And I'd say, let's take a look at that. Okay. It's showing me all the subdomains it can check. All right, fine. That's all the ones we just created, by the way, and they all work. I can click on one website. Of course, that one you already saw. I can click on another one. Look at this one, right? Ain't that hot? That's one of the landing pages, okay? So that people have landing pages to really aim for exactly that sign up, right? That people want. Go over the information and then sign up, right? There you go. It's just different ways things are done. All right, so I could say, analyze all these things. Tell me the speed, the user performance, and the desktop speed. I can do it right now. Okay. Let it do its thing. Some of these are going to be slow. Some are going to be fast. Most of them are going to be slow because they've never been optimized before. We've never had a tool like this before to do this job, right? So the fact that we have it now is amazing. By the way, I can sort by these things. Right now it's sorted by domain alphabetically, but I can sort by the mobile speed, high or low. I can show from, worst to best, right, is being the idea. Generally, I can sort by any of this top speed or whatever, and just see where we're at. What's the worst? What's the best that I have? I can go and work with these things, and sometimes they're just sort of it tripped over the analysis, and so a number like 13 is probably too low. I could always test it later, but there you go. And so whatever you think is the most important thing, user performance, mobile speed, desktop speed. Some websites you care more about the mobile speed because you're going to be looking at them on a mobile. Some you care more about the desktop speed, okay? And so there you go. Now, what could we do with all that? We could export the record, okay? So we have a before record, as a matter of fact. Check this out. See that? So I can just save it. That's my before record, okay? And then I can go minify the files and do another export to compare. I can show the before and the after by minification. The better these numbers get, the higher the websites can rank. The more they can outperform their competitors, exactly because we push these numbers up. The most direct way to push the numbers up right now, you minify the files. So let's go to emoji-samples.com because I want to make that point right there. Okay. Now, pretty soon, we're going to make this possible to go through the entire server, website by website, get the answers for us. And this will actually look at all HTML files, CSS files, and JS files, which is really cool. It'll dig around all the folders for us so we don't have to, right? Then we can minify. And when we minify, it will create a backup of every file before it minifies. And it'll create the backup and call it by the same name dash uncompressed. Okay. Now, when it minifies, it'll create the backup, like I said. That way, we can go and look at all those websites and make sure they still look right, act right, everything's fine with them. You know, log in and out of the admin panels, and everything will be fine. If it looks like it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. Just dig around a little bit, and you'll get the idea. But if there was to be an issue with any of the websites, it's not like we lost the original files. They're there. They're just backed up. Okay, and you can go get the backup and replace the file again. Okay, so that you'll uncompress it, those particular files, and then your website will work again. Just uncompress until you hit the right file, for example, or uncompress them all. You know. So, for instance, I could take a look at these. Take a look out. There's a font awesome HTML file, and it's happened to be here in that particular folder, right? And I can minify it. There's also this file I can minify, that file, and they're all in that add folder, right? That's for the file path. Well, what do you think comes after the add folder? The AddALC folder. What do you think comes after that? We got everything: cargo, carpet, etc. Cash loan, Cairo, clean, you know, all the different things that we put up here, right? That's the whole point. Now, if I just wanted to outright minify everything, I can hit all and I can hit minify. And like I said, it will create a backup. So if I have an issue, we can resolve it, okay? Now, a new kind of an upgrade that we're going to wind up doing is to create a way of checking the pages so that we can auto check all the pages, make sure the system makes sure that the web page looks the same on the outside and acts the same. Okay, we'll do something for that. We'll figure that out. That'll take a little testing to figure it out. It'll become a free update to those who own this. Now, when the check is done, if there's anything wrong, it'll auto uncompress or allow us to selectively uncompress. So we're going to have a way to uncompress. Right now we don't. You have to go into the file manager and do it. But how long do you really think it'll take for us to create the tool to reverse engineer it? Not long at all. We engineered the backups, so now we can read from the backups to recreate the original files. It's just another step. We'll have that done next week. That'll already exist here probably within a week of you watching this. You know, March 8th, add a week, March 15th, it'll be done. It'll be in here. It'll already work. Isn't that cool? That way you don't have to go in the file manager and do it yourself manually. Look at that. Look at how fast it's getting all this done, right? I'm just kind of like scrolling down through it all. You know, see that? Boom, boom, boom. Ain't that cool? So now it's on page 2. It got done with this. It's on page 2. Oh, it's getting that one done. Oh, we got through most of it already. So as soon as it's done, it's going to tell me, right? And then, yeah, I mean, really, that's how awesome this is. And it's truly awesome that we can do this, right? We're going to build in some more rules. Ooh, there we go. All those little green checkboxes, right? Saying everything is done. We're going to build in some HTML minification rules to better minify all this stuff, okay? We're getting there. It's really, really awesome. That way, we're going to uncompress less often, remain compressed more. It's really cool. So anyway, it's all done. Now what? I could export again. I get the export button around here somewhere. But I could export again. And what do I want to say else? Oh, yeah. So what now? Manage bulk files. Okay. What does that do? It lets us find all the zip files on the website to get rid of because we don't need them anymore. That frees up a lot of room on the server. Sometimes servers get bogged down with zip files that don't need to be there anymore. You uploaded that stuff a long time ago. Like, how many zip files do you think there are right now on Moji-samples since I uploaded all those things? Well, how many uploads was that? 27? Then there will be like 27 or so zip files, okay? And that's the whole point. So it's going to go through all those main level folders, like 2 folder levels deep, I think, which covers basically every add-on and every subdomain. All right, and subdomains of add-ons. So by finding all those zip files for me, if those zip files are 10 meg each, and it finds 28, that's 280 meg I can free up. But one of those zip files happens to be 220 meg all by itself. So it's almost 500 meg that I can delete off the server, which is just taking up unnecessary space. 500 meg, that's half a gig, right? If my server holds, I don't know what, 50 gig, and I had half a gig just from what I uploaded while doing this video with you guys, right? Then isn't that crazy? You know, I could fill it with just 100 of those attempts. You would be full. It wouldn't even have room for the regular sites. Okay, so so we got to go get rid of zip files sometimes. So once in a while, let's get rid of the zip files, and these are it. I just select them all because I can read and see if I still need them. Now, I already know that was for installing the template. It's done. The AddALC tool, it's done too. This is done, that's done, that's done, right? If there was one I needed to keep, oh, this guy said keep this here, I need it for my backup, whatever it is. Okay, fine, I'll keep it there. Oh, and this other person, I'm going to keep it there for that person too, because sometimes they have questions. All right, fine. And then I'll just say remove. Okay. And this is how fast it can clear up basically half a gig for me in that case, right? Look at that. There, all done. Half a gig freed up on my server again. I can install more stuff. Isn't that really cool? So there you have it, right? Okay, now what? That's pretty much it. The only other thing that we get to have the fun of doing, how fast can we delete everything we just added? We just added and just optimized all of that. Now I'm straight going to delete it. You know why? Because I'm nuts. Well, that's the joke. The notion is, since we can do this so efficiently, we don't have to worry about it. Now remember, delete domain files, yes or no. If I say no, and I delete these, it'll only delete the subdomain connections to the folders. Okay, it'll keep the folders with the files intact. Nothing changes. It only deletes the subdomain. That way, if you had people who were renting these or something and then they quit paying, or they owe you a favor, you know, in exchange for whatever, the hosting, and then they didn't do it, or who knows what, and you wanted to warn them, to remind them, then you can do this just to get rid of the subdomains on them. You just check theirs, and then just do that. That way, you don't lose their files. That way, if they come back later and go, wait, I'm sorry, I was whatever sick last week, or I ran over a nail in my car and had to change the tires, couldn't afford it. I was hoping you wouldn't get rid of it, but please, can I have it back? I want to pay now. Oh, okay, fine. Then just go create the guy's subdomain. If you say, how do I do that? The answer is use a dummy file. Upload the Google verification file to their folder. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a tiny little file. Google doesn't care, and you don't need to care either. So what difference does it make? All right. But if you do want to delete the files to free up room, open up space, then yeah, delete the files too. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So it gets rid of these relatively quickly. And as it does, see, it's already doing it. And as it does, then the only other thing I'm going to want to do too, and this is really, really fast, watch this. I'm going to hit this thing. I don't want to leave the page while it works, but I can manage databases in a new tab at the same time, because that's a different process. So I'm going to go to emoji samples. And we'll make these bottom things work the way the top ones do, so that you don't have to actually type in, you know, usernames and passwords and stuff. Okay, I'm going to delete all those databases. Boom. Okay, go. And that's pretty quick. Once it gets the connection made and starts going through that pipe to do its job, then all the rest of them just go bam, 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 and it'll be done. So there you go. While it's doing that, how far did it get? It's getting through it. But there you go. That's exactly it. So we just let it finish its job on this end, finish its job on the other end. We can walk off, have a cup of coffee. We don't even need to be here, you know. Literally, just let it do its thing, right? And then it'll be all ready to start all over again. So another couple of minutes, all this will be done. I don't know why it's being slow for whatever reason. Unless I left some other connection open, but I don't think so. Close tabs to the right. Oh, there it goes. Okay, fine. Yep, just about there. And yeah, that'll be done in like 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes, whatever. So yeah, what do I care? All the databases are gone, and all of these are going to be gone, and there you go. They're going to be freed back up. We'll be back to really having nothing on the website. Okay, I hope you found this interesting and informational, and you get a sense of where all of this is going, because we've only begun. New level power like this, you never see anybody with a tool like this. They don't really have one. Nobody seems to have anything like this. I showed it to a few developers, and they just started drooling over it, right? This is gorgeous to them. Most website companies want something like this badly, even to use with their own clients and upload their own software. And you can do that, right? You don't have to use our software for it. It's built in such a way that by running database rules and file content rules, you can set this up to upload pretty much any software for anybody, anywhere. Okay. By the way, this is communicating cross-server. This is already set up with remote MySQL integration. So this is literally doing work on 3 servers if I want. Some of the subdomains, some of the domains listed in servers that we can do work with are not on my server. They're on other servers. Okay. And this one instance from right here can actually create databases over there on their servers and create database users, upload SQL files, run scripts, modify files, modify databases, whatever, all from here. That's what's awesome. It's really an incredible tool once you get it going. All right. Hope you like it. By the way, yes, it does require a dedicated server, because we have to go and tweak the PHP config settings, and you cannot do that on a shared server. I don't even think you can do it on a virtual share. Okay. If in doubt, ask me. We can take a look. Chances are good, though, that if we cannot, what we'll want is access to your server, and then we'll go look and see if we can tweak the PHP settings the way we need. If we cannot do that, this is not going to work on it. That's all. Okay, there you go. So yeah, let us know if you have an interest, especially if you plan to get a server, or if you already have a server that's hosted by HostMonster, or you have a WHM panel hosted by somebody and you know it's a dedicated server level panel. Okay, get a hold of us, and and that means that you're not sharing it with anyone else. It's just you. It's basically your computer to do what you want with. Okay, if you know you're in that group, get a hold of us and we'll see what we can do with you. Beyond that, yeah, if you have accounts on our panel and you would like access to certain features, this stuff's coming out soon. We're going to be able to create a user access to this to be able to run their own things on the server, to optimize their own pages and do things like that. Okay, so this is a sellable tool with upgrades going into it free that you would buy once, and the price for buying it as a user on our server, of course, and getting access that way will be different than the price for a dedicated server owner who's thinking ahead and buying for everything they're going to create for themselves and clients for hundreds of domains, because that's the level they play at. Guys who do that, they buy 20, 50, 100 domains at a time for literally 250 bucks, 500 bucks, or $1,000 at a time. A tool like this will allow you to optimize all those websites and upload awesome websites. Upload, optimize, do what you want with them, and then export more websites from there if you want, and plenty of subdomains. Okay, terrific amount of power. All right, I hope you like it. This is just the beginning. Hang in there and keep watching to see where we take it next. Okay, take care.